Good morning, my lovelies. It's Makeda Valletta, also known as the Renaissance Amazon, and I am live on my IG page. I will save it and repost it to my YouTube. Make sure you follow me in both places. But in case you're unfamiliar with me, my name is Makeda Valletta. I am a native New Yorker, Harlemite to be exact. I am a body scientist, body artist, dancer. I've been a muse for artists, an exercise physiologist and sports scientist, a sports nutritionist, a former athlete. I myself was competed in Division I track and field, and basketball was my sport in high school. I also fenced, played a little soccer, played a little tennis. And so I've always been a dancer and an athlete. And I really want to talk about I really want to talk about Angel Reese modeling for Victoria's Secret. And there's a tennis player, Sachia Vickery, I think is her name, who has an OnlyFans page, right? And I've been wanting to make a video about that for a while. So I'm going to talk about these two topics. First, it's interesting how people like to put women in boxes. When it comes to basketball players and athletes, female athletes, right? Like when you look at the history of sports, there are plenty of times when they wanted female athletes to be very feminine and pretty, right? Like, oh, no one's going to watch women's sports if the women aren't pretty. So there was a time, which World War was it? Hold on. I'm not good at my World War history. Hold on. When they had the Women's Baseball League, I don't know if it was World War II. Yes, it was World War II, I was right. When they had the Women's Baseball League in this country, there was a whole movie about it called A League of Their Own. It was one of my favorite movies, okay? There's not many movies that I love, but that's for sure one of my favorite movies, A League of Their Own. It had Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell, Tom Hanks, and it was about that female baseball league, right? And they wanted the women, they gave them charm classes. They wanted them to be feminine, but you're playing this sport where you have to be aggressive, but they wanted them to all be feminine and pretty and wear skirts, right? And so you had this feminization of women, just like in hip hop, right? Like people complain, oh, women are too sexual, they're showing their body too much. But then if you had a bunch of chicks that was, acting like dudes, people would be saying they're too masculine. At the end of the day, all women like to be pretty, okay? Little girls, you look at Halloween, little girls like to be princesses and fairies and things are sparkly and pretty with crowns and tiaras. And grown women like to be beautiful, okay? And pretty, that is something, and a lot of women hold that back because of patriarchal society. And a lot of people, when they hear patriarchy and patriarchal, they don't know what that means. They think that people have all kinds of ideas, but it has to do with patriarchal religion. The world's main three religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, okay? There are several books I can recommend to you to show you how things went from matriarchal cultures to patriarchal, and it was all through religion, those three religions. Read the book, The Great Cosmic Mother. The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth by Monica Sergio, S-J-O-O, and Barbara Moore. The Great Cosmic Mother. Read that book. I think everybody on the planet should read that book. But, at one point, we were all worshiping goddesses. Because if you think about it, God comes from goddess. Man comes from one man. Male comes from female. And the male has the X and the Y chromosome. Women have two X's. Men are missing a whole piece. So men are like a derivative, okay? We all came here out of if we were born naturally, you came out of your mother's vagina and you were breastfed to her, you would take right from her vagina to her breast, okay? That's the natural way of doing things, unless it was a C-section and stuff like that, but you still came out her womb. And if you're born the way nature intended, you're coming out of her vaginal canal, okay? So there's nothing more powerful, and I definitely don't believe God, this male God, created anything. This is Mother Earth, Mama Tierra, Mother Nature. Nobody says Father Earth or Father Nature. The gods are not as complex as the goddesses, okay? And I'm not going to get into that conversation right now because that's not what this is about. But I'm going to leave that there. Going back to basketball. When I played basketball in high school, that was my main sport. People used to call me Dennis Rodman. And I remember getting offended by that. And because I never was like a huge spectator of sports, I always preferred watching women. I'm not a huge spectator. I love to play sports. I love to train athletes. But I've never been someone who's like big on watching it unless it's like unless I know somebody or it's like a championship. And I always preferred watching female athletes. When I was a little girl, there was no WNBA. But I always liked watching the women. And when I played basketball players were rough, okay? Like, even, I saw some of the roughest chicks ever in life playing basketball, okay? And I played basketball in New York City public school. We used to, yes, I was a big rebounder. Thank you. That's why they call me Dennis Rodman. And I didn't know that. And my twin brother, who's a sports journalist, and he eats, lives, and breathes sports and stats, my brother had to tell me, oh no, they're calling you that because of your rebounding skills. I was averaging like 18, 19 rebounds a game. And myself and one of my best friends, we were the tallest people on our team. I'm only 5'8", but I have limbs of a 6-foot person, and I can jump really high, you know. And so that was my sport in high school. And we used to take the New York City subways. We used to take the New York City subways to our games and get bullied by the whole neighborhood. We almost got into a fight every game we had. And I remember thinking to myself, this is girls basketball, and it's super aggressive, right? It was super aggressive, and New York is a real basketball city, right? So I'm from Harlem. I can't even walk out the house with a basketball without dudes, oh, you nice, shorty, and want to be all in my face. Rebounding to me, I never understood why that was so hard for people. Like watching the Knicks, this in the playoffs just now, play against, who did the Knicks lose to? Was it Indiana? I think it was Indiana. Whoever they lost to in the last round, I don't remember. I think it was Indiana. I was like so annoyed because they were such horrible rebounders. Like, I don't understand somebody shooting and everybody's running away, you know what I'm saying, and not trying to get the rebound. The Knicks were annoying the fuck out of me with that. To me, rebounding is not difficult, you know. But anyhow, back to the point. The girls that I played ball with in high school, a lot of them, you did not see feminine chicks at all, okay? I ran track too, but basketball was my sport in high school, okay? So when I played basketball, when I was in high school, I never used to wear tight clothes. I never used to, if I wore spandex in high school, I always had on a long t-shirt, okay, covering my butt. I would never wear spandex with like a short top or nothing like that. I would always have a long shirt on, covering my butt and stuff like that. And you know, when you play basketball, you were wearing baggy clothes, baggy shorts, baggy jerseys. And then when I went to college and I started running track more, I had to be basically naked. And I remember being uncomfortable at first. Like, I feel like I'm running in my panties and bra, basically. And I didn't want to be that naked. But you don't have a choice in track, okay? So, and I remember there was a female athlete on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I think. There was a female athlete. I don't remember if she was she might have been a basketball player. I can't remember who she was. But there was a female athlete that might have been a basketball player that was on the cover. I don't know if it was Sports Illustrated swimsuit or she was on the cover of some magazine with a swimsuit. That's all I remember. And one of my childhood best friends who played ball with me in high school and went on to play ball in college, she was criticizing the girl for being half naked and having on a bikini. And I said to her, for some sports, a bikini is what you wear for track and field. If you are a swimmer, you're practically naked. You know what I'm saying? If you're a gymnast, okay? Those sports, everybody got on basically a swimsuit. And so the idea of a female athlete, right, and how a female athlete should be, a basketball player who always has on baggy stuff, you think of a female athlete being completely covered. A track athlete who's always, you know, stomach out, legs out, got on underwear all the time, every single day, that's what an athlete is for us, right? So I remember pointing that out to her because a lot of times people are quick to jump to this, oh, whenever they see a woman with a bikini on, oh, she's not respecting herself. She's blah, 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 blah. And it's like ridiculous, okay? So, and the fact that people want to put women in a category. Like, we have sexy male athletes. We got sexy male rappers. You know how many women love Method Man? Do you know how many women love LL Cool J? Okay. Do you know how they're sex symbols? And rest in peace to D'Angelo. Okay. I remember that How Does It Feel video. I was in college when that came out, and I was like glued to the screen. Like, he looked good as hell. I was taking anatomy at that time. So I was learning all the different muscles in the body, and I literally could see his lats, his deltoids, his pecs. I was like looking at all the muscles, okay? So there are plenty of men who are sex symbols too, right? And so and it's not always even about being a sex symbol. Somebody could be a sex symbol and be totally dressed, you know what I'm saying? Men are attracted to, people are attracted to all kinds of things, but it's not even about that. It's her body. And she's using an athlete. When people criticize, like if somebody criticizes a stripper or a lingerie model, basketball outfits only got baggy from the mid-90s to the 2000s. Okay. They were definitely baggy with the baggy shorts and the baggy tank top. And one thing I'm going to say too, there was a female player, okay, that I trained. Her name, she's pretty well known now, okay? I was like, maybe I shouldn't mention her name, but I will. Her name is Rosalind Gold. Her last name is Nigerian Adundawe. I can never pronounce her last name, but it's a Nigerian last name. She's on TV all the time, speaking about basketball. She has been for years. She's a beautiful girl. I trained her when she was, I was right out of college, and she was in high school. Her mother hired me to train her. She's one of the best players in the nation. Definitely one of the best players in New York. When I went to her house, I had never seen somebody with so many trophies in my life. The girl had trophies to the ceiling, okay? And I remember when she went to Stanford in a basketball scholarship, but I remember every single college in the country was trying to recruit her for basketball and academics. She was a scholar athlete. And I remember when I was training her, I remember I trained her like probably her senior year, like right before her senior year in high school. And she was telling me how the coaches who had been watching her since her freshman year could see that she was jumping higher, that she had more agility, and you know, there was a point where her mother couldn't afford to pay me, and I stopped training her for a little bit. She injured herself. I can't remember if it was ACL or a knee. It was some type of injury. I forget. An ACL or some other knee injury she got. And then I helped her the summer that she was going to Stanford. I'm not going to even get it. I just helped her with some shit, okay? Helped her and I remember when she came to train with me, I remember her saying to me, "Oh, Makeda, I love your outfits." You know, like she liked the cute tight outfits. Because for me, running track, okay, you have certain outfits you wear when you run track. You have certain outfits you wear when you're a dancer. And I've been a dancer all my life, okay? So ballerinas got on tights and a leotard. Dancers show their bodies, okay? Because that's what it's about. If you are a fitness instructor and you work in the gym, you usually have on tight spandex. So I was a fitness instructor, a dancer, an ex-track athlete. So at that point, my style was like tight fitness stuff all the time. And I remember her telling me how much she loved my style and how she hated wearing baggy basketball clothes. I remember her saying that because what did I tell you? Girls like to be pretty. She's a very good basketball player, but she's also a beautiful girl. And I remember her saying that to me, right? So now, but back then, there wasn't really a lot of beautiful girls playing basketball. Now, a lot of these basketball players now, there's so many gorgeous girls that play ball. That was not the case in the 90s, okay? So, you know, Angel Reese being, you know, a beautiful woman, and they want to have her do this, you know, Victoria's Secret show. A lot of people, I guess, felt some kind of way because, oh, you're a basketball player. It's like she's using her body to make money when she plays basketball. So what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? Actually, being a Victoria's Secret model puts less stress in her body and probably paid her more for that one show. You know what I'm saying? But people love to control, men in particular love to control women's bodies. And then you have a lot of women who are brainwashed by that BS. And you should use your body and appreciate it while you have it. When I was Angel Reese's age, photographers wanted to shoot me all the time. You see photos that I have from photo shoots. Photographers would see me. I wasn't trying to model. Photographers would see me and they would be inspired. They wanted to shoot me. And so I was a muse for photographers a lot. When it comes to runway stuff, like when I was like 12 years old in New York, people come up to me all the time. "Oh, you should model." And they want me to come places. My mom would come with me. And they would tell me, you'd be perfect if your butt wasn't so big. I heard that so much. You'd be perfect if your butt wasn't so big. That's what everybody said. Okay. Then when I was like out of college, I didn't do any type of lingerie shows, anything till I was out of college. And I did lingerie shows and bikini shows for some bikini. There was one bikini designer named Gloria Del Rio. I think she's Brazilian. I did some shows for her. So, and I remember back then, I was also a graduate student. I was also a graduate student in applied physiology and nutrition at the time. Of course, there was no social media, so it's like some people knew me from academia, graduate student. Some people knew me as a dancer. You know, people knew different sides of me. But I was always a dancer and an athlete, right? But people love to judge. Oh, she's half naked. Oh, she's a lingerie model. And that's what I call showgirls. When I use the word showgirl, to me, a showgirl is any woman who is half naked for, you know, as a part of her job. So it could be dancers. It could be a Beyonce. It could be a swimsuit model, a lingerie model, any of those things, you know, cabaret dancers, right? Women like that, they was going to put you in a stupid box, which is ridiculous. Beauty and brains and athleticism is a deadly combination, okay? Somebody said Angel Reese is probably going to get better at modeling. The difference is that Angel was one doing it first. Doing what first? So this is the thing. When it comes to modeling, because back in the 90s, that was also the supermodel era, right? And there were real models, okay, who were good. But Naomi Campbell, I was obsessed with her, okay? Naomi Campbell and Tyra both killed the catwalk, okay? And if you look at America's Next Top Model, she had people coach them. I actually, you know, there was a modeling school called Barbizon that I went to when I was like 12. And they taught you how to walk the runway and how to do turns and how to do your makeup and all that. And so now there's not a lot of respect for that field because they just want to hire celebrities. So they want rappers, they want famous people on the runway. And to me, in some ways, it devalues modeling because modeling is an art. It's not something that everybody can do. And it's not just about being beautiful, okay? And there's a difference between print modeling and runway. Now, Angel has the body, because now sometimes they use celebrities who were like short. You know, runway was always tall. You had to be 5'9" and taller. That was the rule. They were serious about that. Now they'll be having like short girls, rappers, chubby Nicki Minaj, modeling stuff. That wasn't how it was. Like models were models. And so Angel Reese looked great. It's just that she needs coaching walking, okay? And it's like, when you say that, people are like, oh, you're a hater, and da-da-da, and they wouldn't. It's like, no, she looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But the way her walking on the runway was not, she needs a walking coach. If she was an America's Next Top Model, Tyra would have told her that. She would have had coaching. And to the naked eye, some people don't see that. Especially men who are just looking at bodies, or even women who just like, a lot of people, like, it's just like a dancer, a trained dancer sees things that the average person doesn't see, which is why I say Beyonce is unmatched, because her choreography and the perfectness of the complexity and perfection of the dance moves that her and her dancers do is crazy. But I see every little thing because I'm a trained dancer, right? And so with modeling, you know, with modeling, it's like, you know, there is, if you look at, like, for example, the whole time she was walking, she had her hand in her hip the whole time, right? And then she even did her turn. She did her turn and still had her hand in her hip. Like, that's not how you want to walk. And when you do, she would need to drop the arm at some point, but you don't want to walk the whole time, but you're with one arm up, and then you turn and do your thing, and your arm is still up. Like, she just needs a little help with her walk and her turns. Now, because again, modeling, and it's just like with sports. If you don't watch sports, people criticize sports all the time, and athletes, and LeBron, and this one and that one. You got sports stuff on all day with people criticizing professional athletes who are some of the best in the world, right? And again, let me remind you, I'm from New York City, where, okay, New York City was the fashion capital. It was the modeling capital when there was models, for real. It's the dance capital. It's the theater capital. So it's a high bar in New York, and we point these things out, which is why some people, they're too sensitive, they can't take it. It's constructive criticism. It's necessary. If you train as a dancer, if you train as an artist, you're going to get constructive criticism. Whether you're a singer, an actor, nobody's above that. And because, and I don't feel like people should get a pass because of whoever. Like, you know, she does need work on her modeling, on her walking. I know you don't care if she came out there and did the moonwalk because you don't have an appreciation for modeling. You're just a simple man that just wants to look at a body. So I get that. If there were some basketball players that couldn't play and women were like, I don't care if he could play, he looked good as hell, you would be like, okay, but the dude, he's not making his shots. Like, he needs to go to practice. You're not looking at it from a sexual standpoint. Okay. You're looking at it from a skill point, right? Somebody said she was galloping. Her back could be firmer. She didn't own her length. Yeah, her walk needed work. Okay, it just did. She looked good, but to me, she looked better if she would have just been in the photo than walking, because she just needs help. But I think it's possible. But again, basketball players usually aren't that graceful. Okay, and even when they used to put basketball players, remember in the 90s, they used to put them in sitcoms, and when they used to put them in sitcoms, they were often terrible actors. They were always putting an NBA player in a sitcom, and their acting was horrible. That's a job that could have been given to a real actor, because basketball players are horrible actors, okay? And just stiff, right? But nobody does that with sports. Nobody's going to throw a rapper on a basketball team and let them play a game because they're a rapper and they're famous and they're going to make people watch. People don't disrespect sports like that. But with the arts, with dancing and modeling, people do that, okay? So, and that's all business. They know if we put this celebrity in here, people are going to watch. That's what that's about. So in some ways, it could be disrespectful to the people who really are good at it, okay? So, last thing I want to say, you said her body did look good, jiggling more than the real models, and the white women on Twitter were not kind. Yeah, I saw people talking about her butt jiggling, but I don't know. I mean, I don't even think my butt jiggles that much. Not just from walking, because I have a lot of muscle there, but that to me wasn't such a big deal. I thought, I don't have any criticisms on her butt jiggling, or I think she looked great. So, but she does need training, yes. I mean, she could be amazing with training. Okay, so now last thing, talking about Sachia Vickery, who's a tennis player, and she started an OnlyFans page. She got all this criticism, and she talked about how it helped her. Tennis is an expensive sport. Okay, you have to spend a lot of money to be a tennis player. I think she got injured, and again, she's using her body as an athlete. Athletes use their body to make money. Okay. Some athletes, like football players and boxers, they're using their body to get paid in a way that's probably going to make their life end sooner than it should, and mess up their brain and mess up their quality of life by the time they're 40. Okay, so, but nobody has anything to say about that. I think boxing is pretty barbaric, punching someone in the head until they pass out. So people are okay with that, but you're not okay if you have a beautiful woman or man, but a beautiful woman who people like to look at her. So she says, okay, you like looking at me, then pay a fee and you can look at pictures of me whenever you want. That's way safer and way less stressful on the body, right? And people are looking anyway. It's like the video girls from the early 2000s who, like Melissa Forbes and stuff, who started making calendars. Why? Because the men would see them in the videos. The men want to see more. Men always want to see more photos. Men always want to see more. So if there's a demand, give it to them. Okay, I'll create a calendar. Those video girls started making. They didn't get paid that much money to do those videos. You know what I'm saying? So why not? You know what I'm saying? And if you don't want to look at it, don't look at it. I don't understand people that get upset by it. Now, just because somebody's on OnlyFans doesn't mean that they're butt naked, doesn't mean they're having sex. And OnlyFans is for all types of stuff. If I was famous, I would have an If I was Beyonce, I'd have an OnlyFans page. And she rapped about that, which is funny, in that Savage song. But I would, because if Beyonce just had a page where she just posted behind the scenes stuff. just said hi every morning to people. She will make a lot of money just from that because she's Beyonce. You know, Chris Brown, he's doing his meetups. He's charging people $1,000 to take sexual pictures. But if it was a female doing that, then, oh, she's so nasty. You got Usher over here seducing people with cherries. You know what I'm saying? So they're artists. And when you're dealing with art, you're dealing with sexuality, okay? Whether it's male or female artists, okay? Like, I don't know why that's hard to comprehend. But for Sachia Vickery, to my understanding, the pictures on her thing might be like, swimsuit lingerie. It's nothing nude. She's not having sex. What's the problem? It's a way for her to easily make extra money to then fuel her tennis playing. Are you paying her bills? Are you going to help her play tennis? You know what I'm saying? So, and she pointed out in an interview that many other tennis players, there were other tennis players that also had an OnlyFans. And it's like, if you have the following, okay, if Chris Brown started an OnlyFans page, he would get a bunch of people signed up by tomorrow because he's Chris Brown. He don't have to get naked. Okay, he could be sitting there fully dressed, talking to people, doing whatever, doing 1-2 step. People will pay for it. OnlyFans is not people thinking, oh, you're on OnlyFans, you over here having sex with people and doing this and that. No, she's actually smart for doing that. Smart. People be taking endorsements from Pepsi and Gatorade and McDonald's. That's poison. So when you're letting McDonald's pay you millions for you to be in a McDonald's commercial, knowing good and goddamn well that you shouldn't be pushing that to people, you shouldn't be pushing that to your community, because when stuff like COVID happens, people be, oh, there's so much injustice in the black community, and why are black people dying of hypertension 10 times more than white people, and why do black people have this cancer, why do black people have hypertension? Y'all say that. But then you were quick to jump into a McDonald's commercial, a Gatorade commercial, a soda commercial. I don't respect people who do that, especially athletes. You know you're not eating McDonald's breakfast. And if you are, you should stop. Okay? But you're not. So you're pushing that food that's causing disease just because they give you a couple of million. To me, it's way more of a respectful thing to do. Okay? You're using your body to play tennis. So, okay, you want to look at me? Then fine. I'll take pictures. Whatever, you could go look at it. I'll make money that way. And I'm not taking money from big business to have little girls or people who look up to me thinking, oh, I'm going to drink this Diet Pepsi from McDonald's, or I'm going to eat this, McDonald's Happy Meal because of her, which is straight poison. I don't care how much money somebody pays me. I could never do that. Being a pharmaceutical salesperson, somebody looks at being a pharmaceutical salesperson as better or more honorable than being on OnlyFans. But pharmaceuticals, number one killer of people in this country. And pharmaceutical salespeople have no background in science. So they just hire pretty faces to walk around and lie to doctors so that they can prescribe medicine to you and your family that's probably going to end your life early. I don't respect that either. So people respect those things. People respect somebody fighting to the death till they get hit in the head so much that they fucked up. Now they're going home and beating their wife and all stuff. Y'all respect that. You were fine when Mike Tyson told that boy, I'll F you in the ASS, white boy. Okay? Remember when Mike Tyson said that? Nobody ever says anything about that. Nobody ever says anything about that. He threatened to grape a white boy in the booty, okay? Like, come on. The athlete you were thinking of earlier might have been Anna. I don't know, Kournikova. Are you talking to me or somebody else? That was funny when he said, it was hilarious when he said that. Hilarious. Bad Barbie's a perfect example of what you just said. She made $50 million a year without showing without showing it all, from what I heard. Exactly. You don't have to be. You could do whatever you want on OnlyFans. It's not automatically people are naked or having sex. And then somebody else talking about Angel Reese talking about it was her first time. Relax. She's not Naomi Campbell. So what though? If you were chosen back in the day when there were models, actual models from modeling agencies, they all had to walk to get in the show. They all had to be good. Nobody was giving you. She definitely got a pass because she was Angel Reese. So, and there's nothing wrong with people saying that because it's true. I mean, she looked great, but she did not have a model walk. Anyhow, with Sachia Vickery, yeah. So that's my thing. I don't see what people are, people to me lack critical thinking skills. And, everybody respects things and people are doing it with big business, and big business is the devil. Okay. Big business is the devil. So if you can make the money yourself, just yourself. And what's the difference? Using your body to be an athlete, using your body to be a model. I mean, what's the difference between Angel Reese walking for Victoria's Secret and Sachia Vickery having an OnlyFans page with lingerie pictures? What's the difference? One is that Angel Reese, it was a show. She got paid. And Sachia Vickery doing it ongoing and she's getting paid by individuals. So what is the difference? I like to push critical thinking. I think a lot of people do not have critical thinking skills. Most people don't. Most people don't think for themselves. They don't have critical thinking skills, and they don't put things in context. Okay? So I'm just asking you to do that. All right? And, yeah. So I think I said what I wanted to say, and I'm done with the video. You can follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. What are your thoughts on this topic? And I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy your day. Bye.